Hey everyone, it's Aaron, Prepping, Ohio. We're just coming home from visiting some people, and it's a really, really beautiful day. I stopped here on the bridge, thought I'd show you this. I always loved how the shade comes down on the water. Really takes me back to being a kid sitting down there on the bank fishing, or just catching crawdads or snakes, turtles, whatever. That big tree, you probably can't tell in the video, but it's sort of like a little cave underneath of it. It's kind of neat. It's pretty cool in the winter. Completely different in the winter than it is in the summer. It's like a different planet. But that big old sycamore tree there, I don't know how old he is, but he's definitely older than me. But yeah, it's really nice out. It's 72 degrees out here, and it almost feels cold, and I love it. It's kind of putting me in mind of fall, though it's not even officially summer yet. So anyway, just thought I'd share this with you for now. The honeysuckle is in bloom. That's these funny looking flowers here. They're yellow and white, and it's a vine, and it goes way up there. I don't know if you can actually see it or not, but this is just one little place where it likes to grow. If you've never experienced honeysuckle, you don't know what you're missing. It is the most fragrant flower that I've ever found that grows wild. Very similar to wild flock. But there's something cool with these, if I can do this one-handed. The little stringy thing sticking out. If you do it just right, you could, well, that one didn't work. But sometimes you can pull it out and there's like a little drop of water looking on there. And it's real sweet to taste. Maybe I'll try it with this one. I don't know if you can see me. I'm trying to do this, holding the camera here. Okay. They just started blooming. No, there's nothing on there yet. Just a tiny bit, but it comes out like a big drip. And you just taste it. You put it on your mouth or your tongue, and it's really, really sweet. Never tried making anything out of it. Of course, I'd need about 1 billion flowers to make a syrup or something. But yeah, the honeysuckle's here. So that's always a happy time of year. Well, the solar's looking real good today, and I'm still pretty happy with this charge controller I got. Now, I haven't got my meters yet. I ordered some, amp meter and a voltmeter that I'm going to mount on the wall beside this. But I'm going to try this one-handed, and let's see, the meter's at 0. This is what's coming in on the solar, and of course, a cloud just went over. But 19 volts and around there, 19.1, 19.2, 19.1, and now that's on the panels. Now let's see what's on the batteries. 13.2. How about that? That's pretty cool. Now, I have been using this pretty heavy. Whoops, what happened? Get on there. Yeah, 13.2. And the cloud's still out there. We're still at, yeah, right around 19. That's 18.9. There, see, the sun's coming out there. 20 volts. How about that? Well, here's some two-way radios that I still use a lot through the winter time. Not so much in the summer. They're nothing real spectacular. They're Cobra, what's that say? I can't read it. Micro Talk. And they're advertised as having a 19-mile range, but it's line of sight. And here in the hills, there's nowhere that's 19 miles that's line of sight, unless you're looking straight up. I do know that they work for 2 miles, roughly line of sight, through trees and stuff. They're pretty cool, and these little things, they're kind of small. You see, they fit in my hand. They're pretty small. They got a real rugged antenna, and of course the belt hook there. And they had 2 earpieces that had a key on the ear, similar to like an iPhone headset. It comes with a little button for Siri. I've had these about 8 years, I think, somewhere around that, maybe more. And they've been dropped, they've been beat up, they've been dropped in the mud, and you can see the battery case on this one's doesn't close all the way, but it still holds in there. They're rechargeable. There's the 2 terminals for the little recharger, or the charger that they come with. They sit down in, and the codes are pretty cool. You can program, I think there's like 200 different channels that you could fine-tune, and then each channel has, like 100 different settings, so you can really fine-tune things in. my son and I, my oldest son, and I use these when during hunting season. He likes to go out a lot, and usually I'm in the house doing something when I can't get out and he wants to go. It used to be that I couldn't let him go. I got to make sure I'm there with him, but as he got older, I kind of really wanted to just start letting him do stuff. So I tossed him on the radios, and wherever we hunt around here on the farm, it's maybe a mile in any direction, and it's crystal clear through the radios here. I can hear him and he can hear me, and they work great. And talking about the codes, there was one time that apparently someone around here has another set of radios just like this, or something that they got on the same frequency. From what I could tell, it was an older fella, and he was very polite and probably just as confused as we were. So we decided to change up our channels that we primarily use, and since then nothing's ever happened that I know of. I don't know, maybe people are listening into us, but the only combo we actually do is, a check-in and a location, or return to base, I guess. Kind of funny that my son, my oldest son, I didn't want to say his name over the radio, in case people were listening. So I had to kind of give him a handle, a radio name. And I, of course, became Big Daddy, and he is Sugar Plum. So that's sort of kind of a funny thing that he didn't like it at first, but I refused to change it and just kept calling him that, and he knew who I was talking to. So yeah, and that works pretty good. Like I said, I use these for it's probably 2 miles, roughly line of sight. But after I dropped over the hill, all the way down in town is where the base, or where one of them was, with a person, and I went up to the ridge here, which is probably 2 miles away from this one. It was crystal clear. Now, as soon as I dropped over the hill, there was nothing. So that didn't work so good on that, but it's still a great way to communicate. Now, cell phones do not work out here. You can barely text sometimes. If you're up on a hill and someone else is on a hill, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just sending smoke signals here. I actually have a repeater that I put in my house, a cell phone booster that has an exterior antenna that bolts to my roof, and it actually works. I was very surprised with it. And well, here, I'll just take you over and show you. This is the repeater. It's I don't know any specs on it, the frequency, megahertz, whatever all that crap. It's called a Z Boost, and I've used it for probably 3 years before standing in this house. When you're standing in the house, you had no signal. There was absolutely no signal. There was never going to be signal. I put this in now. Sometimes I can get 3 bars with LTE. That never ever happened here until I put this thing in. And if you unplug it, there's the coax, just like a TV coaxial. That's what comes from the antenna. And then, of course, on the left is a power supply, which actually, that's still on the grid. I need to work on getting that over to the solar. Didn't even think about that. This thing does work, and it always gets dirty on the antenna. You see that gunk on there? I don't know what it is, but there's always filth on there. You wipe it off, a month later you come look at it and there's gunk on it. And I know that because sometimes I have to set my phone up there on this old fluorescent light. I set my phone up there so that I can send text to people that don't have iPhones. So, iPhones, of course, you can text through Wi-Fi, but yeah, this thing's pretty cool. It was after I plugged it in, my ex-wife was at work, and I told her to call myself, and she did, and it rang, and I was very surprised. Now, sometimes it don't work the greatest. Sometimes you kind of got to be in the perfect spot, and the antenna's got to be looking the good way, but if you're relying on text messages that have to go through the network, not the internet, this thing works great. And like I said, on rare occasions, you can get phone calls. That's pretty neat, actually. I was really surprised with that. Well, everybody, hope you're having a good day. Still nice and beautiful outside, and I may try to do a second video, a double header today, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how my little fella cooperates. But anyway, enjoy it. You don't know if you got another one coming. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. And thanks for watching.